What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review, and this time we'll be covering Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines, directed by Jonathan Mostow, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Nick Stahl, and Claire Danes. What do I think about T3? It's okay. It's a decent movie. It tries to justify its existence, and it does an okay job of doing so. At the end of the day, though, T3 should not exist in my book, and unfortunately, it does exist. No, T2 had such perfect closure and an ending to John Connor and Sarah Connor's character arcs that, in my opinion, there was nowhere else to go. They stopped Judgment Day. And T3 kind of retcons everything in T2 and renders that movie kind of useless because just one line of dialogue renders T2 useless. And that line of dialogue is, "You've only postponed it Judgment Day." I have a very hard time swallowing that pill. I really, really do. Because, again, T2 was such an excellent movie, had such the perfect closure, and, again, there was nowhere else you could go. And this movie is forcing more story onto you. But how is movie on its own? It's a fun little action flick. Jonathan Mostow does a good job with his direction. I like a lot of the action scenes; they're all really well shot. I think he's a very competent director. He knows what he's doing, and this movie is constructed well. It has a beginning, it has a middle, it has an end, has natural progression to it. Essentially, this movie is just an hour and a half of a chase. It's just an hour and a half chase, and it's a very entertaining chase between our heroes and the Terminatrix. And I think Mostow did the best he could at making this movie watchable and entertaining at the same time. So, big props to Mostow for doing something like that. I like the use of practical effects and CG. I think they're very well integrated with one another. Again, it goes back to Jonathan Mostow again, wanting to keep. Again, I attribute that to Jonathan Mostow, who wanted to, again, make this movie good, and that's what he did. So the production value is great. Cinematography in this movie is good. The movie is well shot. It looks good. It looks crystal clear. I like it for what I like it. I like what I think Don Burgess brought to the table with his cinematography. The acting in this movie is okay. Arnold Schwarzenegger, great job as always as the Terminator. Claire Danes as Kate Brewster, she's fine. Nick Stahl as John Connor. He's no Eddie Furlong, but he does an okay job. But I just don't buy him in the role. That's it. I just don't buy Stahl in the role, though. Not saying he did bad. I just don't care for him. And Claire Danes and Kate Brewster, again, she's fine. Her character ends up having more of a pivotal role than we initially thought. It's revealed that she ends up being John Connor's wife, and that her father was the one that eventually launched Skynet and started the whole war with the machines. So that is what it is. Terminatrix herself, she's okay. She has a couple of good scenes here and there. Her and Arnie have a very entertaining brawl at the end of the movie, so that stuff's fine. Negatives. This movie kills off Sarah Connor in an unceremonious way. How do you do that? Sarah Connor dies off screen of leukemia. The mother of humanity, the one who fought Terminators in the first movie and the second movie, nearly died, goes out as a cancer patient. I don't like it. It's a cheap, cop-out way to write off a character. And when you actually look behind the scenes and how this movie was originally supposed to handle Sarah Connor, her dying off screen was more dignifying than what they would have put in if she was in the movie. Apparently, Sarah Connor's character was supposed to die midway through the movie, and the characters were not even going to mourn her death. So, in the original screenplay, the badass of Sarah Connor would have been killed off, and nobody would have gave two shits. When you put it like that, you'd rather just take the leukemia death, even though I still think it's a cop-out, and I just hate when on-screen deaths happen like that, because you have awesome characters go out in the most underwhelming way, is what I'm trying to say, to put it very nicely. Very underwhelming. And Sarah Connor's character deserves so much better than that. The story to this movie, nothing spectacular. And that's pretty much nothing spectacular. It's pretty much a chase. It doesn't make it bad, but it doesn't make it all that interesting as well, because, again, aside from a couple of characters here and there, this is not really a movie that you're going to remember when it's over. Again, the only thing you're going to remember are the action scenes, and that's pretty much it. You ain't going to remember much of nothing. Uh, yeah, so tell you the truth, I don't really have a whole lot to say about T3. At the end of the day, I do enjoy it. It's a fun movie. It's enjoyable. It's decent. I give it a 6.5 out of 10. You can watch this movie and be very entertained from start to finish. You know, the lore is expanded upon, though I think the movie's trying a little too hard to justify its existence. But that's just me. Others may think that, oh, it's natural progression. I think it's a forced progression, to be honest with you. So yeah, 6.5 out of 10. If you have not seen T3, why not? Give it a watch. It's not boring. It's a quick watch. You'll be entertained from start to finish. You got Arnold Schwarzenegger being awesome. You got some cool action scenes here and there. You got good direction, good cinematography. Special effects are well done. And, yep, that's all I got to say. 6.5 out of 10. If you like T3, let me know down below. Like the video and subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.